Okay, so I do believe we are officially live. Okay, so I don't know. What is this saying about the rotation? I don't think it's going to let us rotate it. Okay, trial and error. It's our first time going live. So, okay, so I have great news to announce our new podcast, which is Free Game Moments Podcast with yours truly, Nidra, as host, and my co-host is Trevon Trey, better known as Trey, who is my youngest son, who is 23 years of age, and I'm 51. So we're gonna provide a fresh perspective, one that is rooted deeply in the Creator. I do a lot of meditation, prayer, and pondering to connect and things of that nature to make sure that I am only accepting and speaking truth. We don't deal with lies over here. So we believe in transparency and really being open and frank. So we're excited to embark on this new journey, and read the description when you get a chance, because that'll give you a little bit of insight. And then once everything is structured and we're ready to go, which we probably would do a couple more lives on here and post shorts on the actual channel, because free game moments, I should have linked it down below, but I'll add it later on, for the free game moments podcast channel. So we officially have the channel and the email address, so you can email us too, because we are looking for people, everyday people, to take part in our discussions. We really want to give free game. I really do believe that God intended for us to receive this information free. When we pray to Him, and meditate and ask and look within for questions, to answer. I'm getting all jumbled up. I'm so excited. So when you want answers, right? You have to go within, you have to pray, you have to meditate, you got to push the world out. And I'm going to use my other camera next time, because this one just doesn't kind of put both of us in the frame. But we have all our podcast equipment and everything, so that gives us time to set everything up. But we wanted to put the buzz out. And today we'll actually be giving a snippet of what the podcast will be like, because we're going to discuss the video of Cam Newton and the psychologist. I meant to write down her name. Can you grab her name for me, Trey, so we can make sure that we are addressing everybody as such. I do know that she is not married. So when I did my research, I know she is unmarried as well. So not to say that that has any heavy bearing on everything, but I also think that her approach and everything it revealed that. Let's put that out there. So I'm gonna have to bust out I want to make sure that I don't miss not a point. And so our first question that we're gonna discuss is just the general thoughts on the clip. And what's her name?
Dr. Shanae Bryant.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. So it's Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and the Cam Newton video clip that's been going pretty much viral everywhere. So the first thing, I wanted the general thoughts on the clip. So I feel that it's inadequate how everyone is actually handling this, viewing it. I think it's through a skewed lens, and there's blind spots there. Initially, my thoughts, and you can share yours afterwards, Trey, is that I wanted to commend him for being so transparent about his fears. You don't hear men being that vulnerable in an open setting. And her response and the way she responded was not something that I think was conducive to his growth and his development and him learning from the experience. And I think that we take this I'm an expert type of, perspective just too far. Mm-hmm. We all are students and teachers. We can learn from one another. Our experiences, everything that we go through can benefit one another. I don't have to touch the stove to know that it's hot if someone tells me and shows me the scars. I burnt myself. Here's like this. I was reaching for something in the oven and I got too close and I got a third-degree burn. So I can tell somebody that don't get too close. Don't get too close to that right there. Make sure your view is not skewed, that you don't see that if you reach too far in there you're going to burn your arm. I could pass that on to save somebody else from getting that scar. It was liking that to me. I really feel like she added some scars, some that didn't need to be there. And so delivery matters. I think she was so hell-bent on making her point and showing that she was right that she missed the moment where we're going to have a segment at the end that we discuss, is it beneficial to all parties? Because that's how God operates. Everything he does for us is beneficial to all parties, whether we see that perspective or not. God has the eagle eye view. God sees from all angles how everything is going to intersect, dissect, resect, intersect from every angle. And we're skewed. Our view is limited. His view isn't. And so this is why we need to be plugged into him, obtaining every bit of information that we possibly can so that we can heal, grow, evolve, and like God wants to elevate us into thriving. And so that's going to be a huge point that we, are going to share on the podcast. So what was your general thoughts about the clip?
I mean, my general thoughts about the clip was just really truly be mindful, of a place of how you really truly am coming at a person with, energy wise, and really truly make sure you're coming from a place of love, not from a place of criticism, not from a place of reprimanding someone in any way, shape, or
Or
form.
demeaning him, because that was a little bit, I felt like she, emasculated and demeaned him a bit.
Yeah,
That's my view. Did
mm,
you agree with that?
I heavily agree on that, and that's not okay. We should be really truly lifting up, our people and stuff like that, not
Lifting
tearing
each
them,
other up,
not
yeah.
tearing them down, not making them feel a certain kind of way, and as well as making them feel conscious towards their self and towards their abilities as well as towards their personality, how the way they carry themselves and etc. So that's my entire viewpoint on that, based upon that subject, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Go
it
ahead.
does. It does. So for me, I just think that she made valid points,
Hmm.
but it was about the delivery and how she approached those points. It was from a shaking finger at someone instead of saying walking him through his own words, asking him to get to the root cause of why he's fearful of divorce. That's like the bell ringer right there for me. Like, why is he fearful of divorce? And what his view of a family looks like, because that's his view of a family. Everybody's view of a family is different. He may believe in community. You have a lot of people that think build community. The mindset of Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply, because something that we're going to actually dive deep in is the book of Genesis. And God really wants us to dive into that. I'm going to dissect, I'm going to like kind of just revert over here to make a point and come back to the Cam Newton. But this needs to be said. And it's going to shut down a whole lot. And we're going to dedicate a serious, it obviously is serious, but a series to this. So it just shuts down everybody's argument. And it enters and shows when opposition became the forefront and people were drawn to the negative more than the positive. It was never God's intention for us to see ourselves as naked. We were completely naked, no clothes, no covering, no nothing in the Garden of Eden. And when Eve was tempted, which I don't believe that story will go into that. That's, a lot of the Bible has been changed, so we'll just end it there. And we'll revisit that too. But he never intended for us to be covered. And the question was asked, who told you were naked? Who told you something was perverse? Who told you? Our perception of things is not God's. We were made in his image. That's light and dark. We wanted the proverbial devil, but there was opposition. There's obedience and there's disobedience. Opposition. It's about, you can't be obedient and disobedient at the same time. You can't be positive and negative at the same time. It's about what you choose and the balance between the two. We can only learn this from the most powerful highest God. That's the only way we gonna learn. And we have created separatism and pointing the finger at somebody else because one person may be in the positive and one may be in the negative, and yet we want to deem this person as negative and evil when we all have to work to come into balance. We all have to work through the darkness to get to our light. So that's going to be a whole complete series. I'm excited about that. It'll be rooted in the core of relationships, and the first episode will be Adam and Eve. So I'm looking forward to that series, but that's not going to be the first series we kick off in for the podcast for Free Game Moment, because there's going to be a whole lot of free game.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's needed and necessary in a new and fresh perspective. Okay, so getting back to the Cam Newton situation. So the next question is the red and blue pill community. How do you think this discussion falls in that category, and how does it perpetuate the narrative between the blue and the red pill community? So you can go ahead and answer that first.
To be honest, from a place of red and blue pill community is that, the thing is, we really truly have to look at ourselves first before really truly pointing the finger at anyone else. It don't matter who it is. Look at yourself first.
What's your foundation? Is it stable? Is it unstable?
Exactly. Like she said, is it stable or unstable? Is it from a godly place, a godly perspective, or is it from a worldly perspective? The choice is yours.
Opposition, right?
It's opposition to everything. Positive, negative. Opposition in all things. Just like being happy and being sad. Opposition in all things. Light and dark. Opposition in all things. Like I said, it's up to you of what you choose and how you choose to operate in those type of energies. Two different types of energies from a form of duality. So, and polarity. So, yeah.
Okay, that's a great point. So for me, with the red and blue pill community and how that discussion falls into the category, it's still about pitting one against the other. We have to stop pitting one against the other. Always the right and the wrong. That's an illusion. Because what's right to one person is wrong to someone else, and what can be wrong to someone else can be right to another person. This scripture is also something that should just flatten the field. There is a time, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, there's a time and a place for everything. God didn't say some. He didn't say this or that. A time and a place for everything. That means to experience all things. There's a time and a place. He said there's a time for war and there's a time for peace. There's a time for love and there's a time for hate. So we have to go to him on a daily basis, plugging into the source to really learn how to navigate this thing. He has the blueprint for your life, specifically for you. Who you are, what you're made up of, who he created you to be. What does that evolution look like? How much work do you need to be putting in? Because he created the world, but he also rested. So it's about learning the balance between work and rest. That's duality, that's opposition. We look from a place of wanting to elevate ourselves above someone else. No, we're all in the same pit, trying to climb out, trying to get a level of understanding, trying to grow and care and love. And everybody wants to receive love. You know, it's when we hide things that things faster grow and become dysfunctional. You have to work those things through with the Most High. Nobody else is going to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else is going to be able to get you to the place of understanding that you need to navigate in that. To navigate and understand how to accept death. To navigate and understand how to accept challenges and how to push yourself to do things that are difficult and challenging and get yourself out of your comfort zone. Thank you, David Goggins. I listen to you a lot to pump me through some things that I really don't want to do. So, you know, shameless plug right there, because your motivational speech really helped me to just kind of get up and just move and get out of that place of stagnancy. But I'm really excited for us to share the podcast. I want to go back to what I was saying about the red and blue pill community and bring the other question full circle, which was how does it perpetuate the narrative? And it's about the pitting against one another. And until we start learning to work together, how it was always meant is for us to work together, not in opposition. And that's what's going to balance it out. Working together versus working this. She could have came from a place of care and prayer.
Mm-hmm.
She could have came from a place of stating to him, okay, so that's what family looks like to you. And why does family look like that to you? What is the fear and blockage that's causing you to want to create a new family dynamic? That's not as harsh as some of the things she said to him. She said some pretty harsh things. Now, I'm a blunt person, but I understand that you have to be tactful in how you relate things to people. You have to be loving in your approach, because that, to me, that could have easily scarred him that much more. Not wanting to open up and share, you know, next time, instead of saying, how does that benefit your family? What's the benefit to all parties if the time is not, you know, split up equally between your kids, or if you have more group activities and things of that nature? I feel like I can have a whole episode broke down just on that alone and how that affects everybody involved. And I felt like it was all about her wanting to sound eloquent and you know, studious, and be able to put him in his place from an educational standpoint. But I just don't think that it's gonna bring the results that is needed. And leading into the next question, what's the point of discussing the problem if you're not going to discuss a solution? And that was never discussed. She just went into bullet points and shots fired, and there was no solution discussed. And how can he get over his fears? How can he be more secure? Because those are not just fears, those are insecurities. So what does he feel that is lacking within himself to have a stable and healthy marriage? Because let's face it, God created marriage. God did not create boyfriends and girlfriends. So you are automatically living outside of his covenant. There's covenant in marriage. So there's a covering and a blessing in that. So if you just choosing to be shacked up, as my grandparents used to say, then there are a lot of negatives to go with the positives of that. Yeah, there's freedom to walk away, but there are ramifications and consequences to every action, and not positive and negative. So that just could have been handled with a fine-tooth comb. I just think that we don't even have enough time for me to get into that, because I could break that down
Mhm.
like I could break down, making a steak tender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that. It just it's just not enough time. But so what do you feel, where discuss what's the point of bringing up a problem if you're not going to discuss the solution? What's your take on that?
To be honest, all it's going to do is add even more problems than it is to solutions if you're not able to compromise to a point where oh, okay, I see, you're right about your
Getting
perspective
him to
on.
make a connection with her point,
Yeah,
because that never happened.
like I used to like I my own terms that my term that I used to say, which is connecting the dots.
Right.
That's what I feel like she failed to touch base on, is connecting the dots on why he is afraid, of
Of
not.
that level of
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah, of that level of commitment. Because to be honest, I feel from my point of view, on my intuition,
Of how Cam felt.
yeah, of how careful, and the root cause of fear of commitment is because it all stems from trauma and childhood wounds,
Yeah.
and it comes from, and
Broken
yeah,
families.
broken family, and fear of
Failure.
yeah, failure, and fear of abandonment.
And not want to abandon his children. So I feel
Yeah,
like that's where he feels the stability lies in, and the security, building the security with his children, where he feels like it may not be able to be sustained. That security may not be sustained in a relationship.
yeah,
And a lot of it stems from people not seeing people exhibit the behaviors of a lasting marriage, right? The number one issue is infidelity, right?
yeah.
Which at the in financial, the financial core and infidelity. So people have financial issues
Hmm.
where coming to a common ground on their finances and all the different dynamics and variables that brings with income levels and things of that nature. Is she a stay-at-home mother, or are both parents working? It's just a lot of different variables to that. But at the end of the day, those two issues are typically what most marriages end on: infidelity and finances. But at the root cause, right? Because you got to get to the root to be able to heal any of these things,
Hmm.
is, are people learning the skills necessary for successful marriage? Are you learning how to invest in yourself
Hmm.
first and foremost,
Yeah.
right? To build your intellectual bank account, because with wisdom,
Hmm.
you're going to have more stability, and those are the things and the lessons that God can really teach us, because I know He taught me. I never really aspired to be, like, I felt like life kind of beat me down, and stopped reaching outside of my perimeters. You know what I'm saying? Just my immediate environment. Like, I originally, as a kid, wanted to, be a famous singer, and I just had all these different, dreams that I felt like life just start, socking a sister, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Getting pregnant, being a teen mom. I got pregnant at 14, had my first son at 15, which was a shocker. And my childhood was, man, let's just say, mommy dearest comes to mind sometimes. But anyway, and I didn't have a father in the home. My grandparents, co-raised me along with, my mom, so it just was a lot of dynamics there. So when you start to dig deep in your childhood, to start seeing where you first felt like the ball was dropped, right?
Hmm.
Because safety and security, where did I first not feel safe? Where, so I had to walk myself through all those things.
Yeah.
And then once I started having children and making decisions out of wanting love, because that choice to have a child that young is because I wanted love. Like that, I dug deep enough to understand that I wanted love from somewhere and I wasn't getting it. So I figured a child was going to love me because I cared for it and took, and poured into it and all these types of things. But I became a parent at 15, had to work and go to school. Then I dropped out of school and then got my GED. And it's just a whole lot of just hardships that I didn't have to go through if I had have really started pouring and giving myself what I was looking outside for. I was looking for other people to give myself what I should have given myself. And that's another free game moment right now, is that you must give yourself what you need. You cannot look for anyone else to give that to you. The Creator can only give you what is void so that you can give it to yourself. So that's the number one. I like the ring the bell free game moment for that one today. So, and you think about it, even when your parents, and you should have parents that are teaching you how to be an adult to take care of yourself, right? But just like my situation, I didn't really have the typical dynamic of a family at home. My mother was a single mother. She worked all the time, so she wasn't there. And I had a whole lot of other issues that, I was going through because she felt, inadequate and not capable to do her duties as a mom. So she took out a lot of frustrations on us, and I lovingly understood that. I lovingly forgave her when a lot of people would look at me like, what? So many people didn't understand my logic on that. But that's the whole point. I never had a view like the world. I had a view like God did. And so very young, that's how I knew I was tapped in, like so young. And I really like shared a lot of that with you guys and stuff. And I never really talked about my childhood because I didn't want you guys to judge or view me as a mother based upon those things. I wanted to just truly have a foundation where I poured into you all. But there was always a mixing factor because things didn't work out with, me and your dad. So that took him outside of the home. So as much as I tried to pour into you all and show you both sides of the coin, your brothers felt like only a man could teach me how to be a man. You could never teach me how to be a man, and I understood that, right? Because they want to see someone exhibiting those behaviors. Our cellular makeup, genetic makeup causes different reactions from female to male, so I completely understand that, but I'm just really excited to like dig deep, to give and share these free game moments. I know like this is kind of a free for all discussion for our first one, but please do email us at freegamemomentpodcast@gmail.com. So if you want to join the discussions, and I can email back and forth to see like what topics interest you and see where we can schedule you guys in to have open discussions like this, and we can do it through via Zoom, or if you're in the Virginia area, we can do it and set up where we can do it all together at a neutral location, or come into my home. So for us to shoot it, but we're really excited about Free Game Moment Podcast, and it should be free game. Hello, we shouldn't be paying for knowledge. People are charging more and more and more just for, what they think is keys to, said kingdom. But, the Creator got the keys, so there's not a bit of information or knowledge that, the world can keep from you if you tapped into the source. So another free game moment. There you go. But so in closing with the Cam Newton situation, we have a different take on it. She made good valid points, but I don't think that she got anything done or accomplished in that man healing and helping him feel whole to get to marriage, to have a household that he can thrive and pour into his children all under one roof. And, and that's the goal, right? That's what he's saying. He wants to be married. I never heard him say he didn't want to be married. He even stated that he wanted to have more children the way God wanted him to. Yeah. That was a moment for her to open up to say, well, you should pray. You should really go into deep prayer and supplication. How about finding a therapist that has the same rooted beliefs you do, that understands the spirituality side of things, and that can help navigate him. I'm a spiritual counselor. It's so many things that people could have done to pray for that man. Like, it's always from a negative perspective. I just don't understand why it's always from a negative perspective, beating down somebody, whether it's man or woman. We need to come together in love and really share the free game. Yeah. So we all can heal. Mm-hmm. We all can grow. Stop gatekeeping. There is always enough. And there's always more. Yeah. Let me break that down to you again. We got to get rid of these limiting beliefs. There's always enough, and there's always more. So that's going to be our last free game moment today until the next podcast. We are going to basically let you have a sneak peek of the season for the next episode. So we'll break down what our episode category is going to look like. I said category, I meant to say catalog. What our episode catalog is going to look like, so you guys will know what interests you most and you can tap and tune in. I'm so excited about this. I hope you guys are too. I have a plethora of knowledge and wisdom that I'm going to share free game on, and my youth and his perspective, which I really love. This is a shining example of overcoming challenges, diagnosed with ADHD and autism, and highly functioning, because I refused to have limited beliefs when my son was concerned, to think that he had to be limited just because of his disabilities. I just saw it. That means you need to find a new pathway. That's a new pathway for you to find, to grow and learn and develop and to overcome your challenges. And I'm so grateful that was the perspective that I looked, through the lens to help him ultimately, adopt that vision for himself. And how do you say that turned out?
It turned out really relieving, really, stress-free, and it just gave me a sense of freedom that I knew that was longed for a long time and stuff like that. So I can really truly just be free-spirited, really truly just love myself, and really truly just know my worth. And, while, pouring into myself and allowing the Creator to, as well, to love me the same way that I love myself, and to pour into me the same way I know I need to pour into myself as well. So I'm really truly am grateful and blessed and praiseful to the most, powerful, highest God, man, on this earth. And for real, seriously, that, to be honest, that no one can ever even comprehend, because it's spiritual. It's nothing of this world. Like, for real.
It's true. That relationship is otherworldly. I just know that the deep, relationship that I feel I have with him comes from the time that I've spent and being completely transparent with myself. I feel like I wrestled with God a few times, about different things and concepts and things, and knowing I could be that open and that frank and that transparent. And it humbled me, because I really knew that he was really leading and guiding me. And I say he, but, we all have masculine and feminine within us, but he prefers the masculine, right? The masculine is the leader and the teacher and all these things. So I'm like, I'm mad grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to get too off course or whatever, because it's just kind of a free for all, free for game day, you know what I'm saying? Just giving out, you know what I'm saying, gems. Especially, I can't wait for the Adam and Eve episode for, you know, the relationship series. It's just, I'm excited about a lot of our episodes to come. So we have a lot of things already planned out. We've been working on this for quite some time. Oh my goodness. So we have to set up our equipment and everything,
Yeah.
get all that, squared away. But we're going to keep you guys posted. And I'm going to learn how to interact with you guys on live, because this is my first time going live. So I really don't know how. So, and then I have to find, I hope that I could save it. I don't know if they're going to let me save the first episode, but hopefully they do, so people can go back and view it. But I don't even know. I don't even think I know how many people are on. I think it says a couple, but I'm super grateful. Even if it was one person on here or zero, and it's just the replay. I'm just grateful to be doing this. Like, to be my authentic self, like, seriously, just be myself. Like, to have a chance to use myself, not as a guinea pig per se, but just to really break down the logic and, especially because I wanted the male perspective, especially with your viewpoint and your perspective with the challenges that you've had to face and overcome. I just really understood why God wanted you to really take part. I really originally thought it was going to be a family thing. I have 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter, and I thought that we were all going to be on the family free game, type of thing. But God saw different, and everything happens for a reason. We going with the flow, we in the flow, we in alignment. So we don't force things, and we don't resist. At least I try my best not to be too resistant. I think he might say otherwise. Some days it's a tug of war with what he wants me to do. So, but I am being more obedient, like starting this live today. I did not put it off. And so that's progress for me. Kudos to Nidra for progress. But we just really want you guys to interact with us and to really share your free game moments. We're going to repost those and really, make sure that we're sharing the knowledge, no gatekeeping allowed, and we're allowing a safe space for people to truly be themselves. And then we can lovingly help each other grow. It's about expanding our perspective. It's about really looking through the lens of the Creator to align our perception with His, so that way we can have it be beneficial to all parties. Okay? Because trust me, that's how He operates.
Yeah, it is.
It's how He operates. Yeah. And shout out to Cam Newton. I'm serious for being transparent and vulnerable. And I really hope that you heal. I really hope that you heal the things that are blocking you from having your dream marriage. Like that, do not have the limited belief. The moment you tell yourself you can't, you can't. The moment you tell yourself you can. Another free game moment. You are limited by your beliefs. You are limited by your belief system. If you believe the sky is the limit, then guess what? That's the limit. If you believe there is no sky and there is no limit, then that's the limit. So we have to really learn how to change our perspective and expand the perception and align it with the Most High, because it's going to just change everything. Like everything. For the better. It's going to elevate you into your thriving. Okay? Yes. Elevate you into your thriving. That's what the Most High wants to do. And He wants it to be beneficial to all parties. So we're going to chime out for our first episode, our prequel, on the Free Game Moment podcast. And everything's going to be more structured. You're going to get structured shorts and clips of our episodes. things of that nature. And please go follow us on our YouTube channel at Free Game Moment Podcast. And once again, I'll make sure that I plug it down below if I haven't already, is to, if you really want to be on the show, email us at freegamemomentpodcast@gmail.com. So thanks so much, everybody. And we look forward to sharing more information with you guys soon. And we're going to have a couple more prequels that's going to be a little more structured so you can see the pattern of the episodes and things of that nature. And thanks so much for taking the time to view our channel. Well, my channel, because this is Famished Life. So, but thank you for viewing our first prequel of the Free Game Podcast, Free Game Moment Podcast. Let me not leave out moment. All right. Take care and signing off.
Bye. Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.
See you next time.
I gotta see how to stop it. What is this? I don't even know how to save it. I think I have to do share. Trey, look up how to save live. Y'all, I don't even know how to do nothing on here. Like, at all.
Okay. That's right here.
How to download a YouTube live stream. Help Center. It don't have anything for me to download. It says share, but it doesn't say. Check it out. I want to edit it, but I don't know. Look and see. It's posted. It still got me on live. I got so much to learn. Y'all. I don't even know. Oh, because it's actually live still. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out the ins and outs of this live stuff because this is my first time going live. So I do apologize for the unprofessionalism of editing and things of nature with this first episode. But I did get it posted. So hopefully it saves without any issues. If it doesn't, then I'm just going to do another live to go over the same viewpoints. But thank you guys so much. And we look forward to connecting again.
That's all for now, y'all. I'm so blessed and grateful for this podcast because it really truly gives us an opportunity to really truly heal this world, man. Really truly heal.
And have the discussions that's necessary for healing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Until next time, y'all.